at the outset, I would like to thank Dr. M.G. Srikumar, Conference Director, and Dr. Girish Kunkur, Plenary Chair, for giving this opportunity to present my paper. I would like to thank LIS Academy for holding such national conference such a big way in this prevailing pandemic situation. So let's get started to presentation. Myself, Mr. Minum Choudhury from CSIR NAL, and my colleague Dr. Shibram BS is the co-author of the paper at the Vulnerability in Library Web Application. I will be presenting the same in front of you. As you know that library paradigm has shifted from print to web-centric in the form of web pages, ebook, etc. Now the scope of getting desired information is wide open from the library room to anywhere in the world. Library, so the following web application, we can access the library nowadays. Library automation, that is web opaque. Through this, we can search the library holdings, library portal, static, dynamic, or CMS-based. Through this, we can integrate all the library services, library archiving repositories, through which we can archive all the institutional publications and provide the interface to the external world. Electronic resource management platform enables to manage the electronic resources effectively. Discovery platform is provide a single window to find the library information. And online journal platform, Web 2.0 services like blog, wikis, and RSS feed, etc. is used to give alerting services. As one side, we have the freedom of choice to access the library resources. On the other side, we have challenges to ensure the integrity, confidentiality, and availability of the library resources in digital form from cybersecurity threat, for which we need to exercise vulnerability assessment of the web application periodically, and we have to periodically through which library web application being accessed. For mitigation purpose, it is required to classify all the vulnerability into 3 categories, that is high risk, medium risk, and low risk. In high risk category, attacker can fully compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the target system without specialized cases. Medium risk, attacker can partially compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the target system. In low risk category, attacker can compromise the confidentiality, integrity, or availability of the target system in limited way. Open Web Application Security Project is a non-profit foundation that works to improve the security of the web applications, publishes top 10 vulnerability each year, based on the number of attacks happen in each category of the each category. So these are the top 10 vulnerabilities of 2019. With the injection attack, broken authentication, sensitive data exposure, XML external entities, broken access control, security misconfiguration, cross-site scripting, insecure deserialization, using component which known vulnerability, insufficient logging and monitoring, and many more are there after that. So out of which injection, sensitive data exposure, and cross-site scripting are the potentially vulnerable threats, and which may lead to attacker to get access the confidential data, even modify the data, or even shut down the entire web applications. Vulnerability, we have for test case, we have done vulnerability of 3 types of web application. For library archiving software, which is open source, and library opaque, which is a proprietary software, and library portal is a database-driven dynamic website designed and developed by a library staff using PHP and MySQL. The outcome of these vulnerabilities we categorize in 3 categories as usual. We can from the outcome we can see that SQL injection in a database user has admin privilege is possible in library portal, whereas account compromise using password reset is possible in archiving application and web opaque. In medium risk category, we can see that weak password policy, username enumeration, and brute force attack are possible in both archiving application and web opaque, whereas Automated form submission and click checking vulnerability is possible in library portal. In low risk category, we can see that improper error handling and version disclosure both are available in all three categories of web applications. In order to mitigate all the discussed vulnerabilities, the proactive approach to find the countermeasure which needs refinement of the code in the applications. So injection attack, cross-site scripting and reflected cross-site scripting type of vulnerabilities can be minimized by using enabling server-side validation and sanitization of input data. Whereas CSRF can be prevented using anti-CRF token in every form and URL for each session of the users. Database user has admin privileges can be countered by creating a database user who other than root, which can only get the access of the web applications. We should avoid to give root account for data application access. And this insufficient transport layer protection can be prevented by implementing HTTPS instead of HTTP using a self-sense certificate, SSL certificate, or a CA-based, preferably a CA-based certificates, so that certificates. Session fixation can be neutralized by issuing a random session ID after each successful login. File upload restrictions can be minimized by enabling the file type, which file will be uploaded. You have to specify in the application. If we allow all the type of file can be uploaded, then there is a chance of file malicious file upload. And weak CAPTCHA implementation can be prevented by using server-side validation should be enabled for the CAPTCHA, all the CAPTCHA validation. And there should not be any client should not have any control over CAPTCHA content. So to comply all the mentioned countermeasure requires times and manpower to do all the exercise. As an immediate hotfix solution, web application firewall can be placed before the application which are vulnerable in nature and which enables the web application to prevent attack from the injection, cross-site forgery, accesses, or file inclusion, etc. From design, development, and deployment or hosting, the web application, we need to enable all such countermeasures in order to provide flawless web-centric services. Thank you. Thank you for your valuable time.